Hi, I'm Seth Killian from Capcom, the special advisor to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, here at the Tokyo Game Show 2010. And we've got a bunch of exciting new Marvel vs. Capcom 3 stuff going on.
Awesome. Okay, so Seth, run us through basically anybody that hasn't, doesn't know anything about Street Fighter, right? Or has maybe played it when they were, ages ago. But give us a rundown of what's going on with the new Marvel vs. Capcom 3, new characters that you can talk about at the moment,
Sure.
or what we can expect from this new franchise.
All right, well, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, for anybody that hasn't played 2, one, you should play Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Amazing game. But it basically is a 3-on-3 fighting game, so it's not just about one character versus one character. It's about 3 versus 3, and the team mechanics are actually really important because you use the partners that are not on the screen at any time, or at the same time, to call in assist moves, which are very, very powerful. So that's a key part of the game. Also, you tag between all the characters, so really having an overall flow and integration, and not just one character, but a whole team, is the key to success. But it's also just a really fun game. It's easy to get into, easy to pick up. The motions tend to be much less complicated than a Street Fighter game, and there's just a lot of crazy stuff happening on the screen. It's a big play space with a lot of flying around and giant lasers and explosions and whatnot, so it's really fun to pick up and play. One of the new features in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is actually, we'll get to the characters, which is the fun bit in a minute, but we actually got what's called a simple mode of operation. So I think the game is already pretty simple to pick up for anybody that's new to fighting games. But if you're brand new, or you're somebody who's struggled with throwing a Hadouken or a fireball or something like that in the past, what we've got is you're able to execute most of your normal moves on a single button by repeated taps. You can also do a special move with a single button. So you just tap it, you'll throw a Hadouken, throw the fireball. If you want to do a Shoryuken, you just hold down and hit that special button. You do a Shoryuken, just like that. And you've also got super moves on one button as well, so you can just jump and hit that button or stay on the ground, whatever you like. You can bust out a super move with one button as well. So if you just want to get into the game and start having fun and you've never played a fighter before, this is a great way to get anybody into the game who's never tried it before. And you can get the ebb and the flow and sort of realize how you should switch your teams and when you should use your supers, and you're not struggling with just trying to do the motion. You can think more strategically about how you want to do it, because it's just on one, it's at the press of a button, so that's great.
Press of the button, it's very, very simple like that. Okay, good stuff. All right.
So a lot of complex strategy.
Yeah, there is. So basically, you can make it really, really complicated, or you can just make it very, very simple.
Yeah, that's what's made Marvel vs. Capcom 2 popular for over 10 years. Is the depth and the complexity there.
All right.
But apart from that, of course, it's about the characters in the game.
And there's lots of new characters, eh?
There are, right. So we've got a lot.
Let us know. Give us a rundown on what you're allowed to say.
Hopefully I don't blow this one.
All right, here we go.
So, playable for the first time here at Tokyo Game Show, we've got, on the Capcom side, we've got Beautiful Joe from the Beautiful Joe series, of course, a big fan favorite. Also one of my personal favorites, the wolf from Okami, Amaterasu. And she's just rendered beautifully. So anybody that's a fan of Okami, definitely at least watch some trailers, try her out, because she's so many loving touches for any fans of Okami that are put into this character. And then on the Marvel side, we've got Dormammu, who's a bit of an obscure character, but basically they don't call him the devil, but he's pretty much the devil. From another dimension, he's raining hellfire and opening portals to all sorts of awful places, and just generally causing stuff to fly at you. So for fans of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, think a little bit like Blackheart, but fairly distinct character as well. And then, of course, finally on the Marvel side, we've got Thor, who hopefully needs no real introduction. The God of Thunder. He's a bit more of a bruiser type of character. He's got more mobility options than like a Zangief, but also a command grab. So character or players that like a big bruiser kind of guy can get you
like Zangief basically
and smash you with a big hammer. That Thor's your man.
Awesome.
And we also just yesterday announced 2 brand new characters.
Awesome. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What are they? Here we go.
On the Capcom side, it was Tron Bonne from the Mega Man Legends series.
Tron
Bonne, yes.
Tron Bonne, here we go.
Back from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with a bunch of new tricks. Very fun character. She can cause, like, one of her, her popular supers is what they call Lunch Rush, where she rings the lunch bell and basically 10,000 Serbots charge out and trample you on their way to eat. And I don't know why robots are eating, but they do. And on the Marvel side, we've got X-23, who's a clone of Wolverine, but a female clone.
X-23, right?
Indeed, X-23. She's very powerful, very fast character. I think the fastest character in the game right now.
Really?
So she's brutal. A lot of
how
stuff will be showing
complicated?
off with her.
How complicated is she to use?
I would say Tron is actually a little more complicated than X-23. So X-23 at a basic level you can pick up very quickly because she's got a lot of effective rushes and is just fast.
Right. So you can just button mash and pretend you're doing something good, and you can bring out a 1,000 hit combo.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can really confuse your opponent. I'm doing most of my losing right now to a guy who plays X-23.
Oh, well, you've beaten me today, so I can't say that.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Yeah.
So basically, okay. So apart from that, if you're new to the series, who would you recommend players pick up and play? For the best 3 characters that you could start off with.
Well, of course, Ryu's an easy character to pick up and play, and you'll know that you'll be familiar with those kind of motions right away. But I think Dante is sort of the new Ryu of
really?
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yes.
He's got a ton of great specials that are all really interesting.
Yep.
He doesn't, you can button mash a bit because he's got good range, so you don't have to. You don't have to worry that you're going to do some crazy special that's going to leave you wide open.
Oh, okay.
Most of his stuff is relatively safe.
Right.
Beautiful Joe's a lot of fun too. He doesn't have as much range, but he's a very fast character that can sort of stay in your face and stay on top of you.
Okay.
Chun-Li is also really strong. The only thing about Chun-Li is she doesn't take the hits very well. So you can die quite quickly. So she's a lot of fun to play, but you can't. You can dish it out, but you can't take it.
Like that. Okay, fair enough.
Beware.
Okay, good stuff. And more complicated expert characters?
Oh, Dormammu definitely a bit of an expert character.
Yep.
I think Trish, also from the Devil May Cry series.
Yep.
She's not necessarily so difficult to play, but her moves are very potentially deadly when used in the right way. So she can create a lot of little traps around the screen.
Yep.
So again, if you're able to think at a more sort of strategic level, you can start predicting where your opponent's going to be and leave traps for them, which they're going to run into. And it's basically sort of a Dalsim kind of effect where you feel like you can't move almost.
Really?
It's like she's all over you.
Man, amazing. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So that's another character to look out
Awesome.
for.
Okay. Apart from that, now, are there any characters that you can pick that are unlockable that you can't get at the beginning of?
That's something we're still going back and forth a bit internally. So Japan loves the idea of unlockables. And I think in the West we're not as. I mean, sometimes I enjoy the idea of unlocking characters, but as long as it's not too many. So we'll see where that nets out.
Fair
maybe
enough.
some, but we may be able to keep them all loose from the start. So sometimes it's nice. I mean, the idea with the Japanese thinking is you should play some characters at the beginning, master them, and then by mastering those, you're going to unlock more.
Right.
So you're not overwhelmed from the beginning with a ton of stuff that is very challenging.
And just quickly, the options. I know that you've got arcade mode and stuff like that, but do you have anything what other options do you have in the game as well?
It's pretty. It's sort of a good representation for a fighting game. So we've got sort of a story mode.
Yep.
We've got something where you can do a bit of practicing in sort of an interesting way, and of course online, which I'm
challenges as well. You got challenges like you did.
That's still TBD. So we'll see. It'll be some form of something like that. But
story mode pretty much is basic and multiplayer as well.
Indeed, online. And the challenges won't be a Street Fighter kind of style thing because this game is too big with too many specials to really offer that. It's not as relevant for a Marvel style game.
Yeah.
But we have some surprises.
Awesome. Okay, and basically, I know that of course it's a fighting game, but how's the storyline in this one?
Well, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds. So
Fate of Two Worlds. The two worlds collide, right?
Indeed. You've got the Marvel and the Capcom universe, so you'll get a little backstory on why they're colliding.
Yep.
Why their fate both hangs in the balance.
Oh. And in the end, they all live happily ever after?
No, I don't think so.
Jeez, I love that one.
Yeah, and
so there's a twist, eh?
There's a bit of a twist, and but it also depends on which characters you finish the game with. So what's fun also about the endings is that we'll be able to pull characters that aren't even in the game.
Yeah.
So basically, we have access to the entire Marvel universe.
Okay, and they all come in at one point or another.
And Capcom. Well, I can't promise everything.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a big universe as well as the Capcom, but we're going to try and get a bunch of more fun stuff happening in there in the endings. Some nice reward for people that finish the story.
Excellent. And it's going to be out on Xbox and PlayStation 3, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And when is it due?
It's spring. We're
spring.
Still going spring.
All right, spring 2011.
That's pretty close. It's not so far away now.
That's all right, cool. Yeah. All right, apart from that, I think that's basically it.
Well, thank
you very much for your time, Seth, and we'll speak to you soon.
All right, my pleasure.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.